Oh, it's all good. What do you think about young Griff being proven or
Yes,
disproven
so
as Aegon?
there's this moment in A Dance with Dragons, like the chest of clothes, right, that Tyrion spies on the Seliusori Quran, that has a bunch of different colored shit, and like people have gone wild with that about like, hey, Aegon can put on this color pants, and then people will think, he's a Meadows or he's a Valarian or he's any type of person that would make a certain house more willing to ally with him, right? He's a canvas on which Illyrio and Varys can just paint whatever allegiance they want.
Do you mean on the Shy Maid? So the
Yes,
Selassori
I
Quran.
I
Yeah, yeah.
sure do. You know Germ and ships and how he just like puts ships into the story and it's like, okay, man, I get it. There are ships.
Do they really need names? It's a means of transportation, George. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, you're right. Like the clothes are like the costumes of the mummers that Varys grew up with.
I'm gonna go back to this.
Um,
There we go.
and I also think it relates to the imagery of a shadow because like a shadow is cast. And Mama's like, you know when like you put your hand in front of a light source and you move your fingers around to be like a little quacking duck or a barking dog, like finger puppetry?
I do know
Like
it. I
that
know.
that
I do know that. It turns out.
you're familiar with that concept. That is what young Griff is. I think that Varys is contorting his perfumed fingers into like a dragon shape to project the image of a dragon, a black dragon, appropriately enough.
But then the question is like, well, who is this canvas then? Is he actually just nobody?
Some people speculate that like the Bright Flames were originally meant to be like the villainous Targaryen bastards, but then George changed his mind and replaced them with the Blackfires.
Which was a very
Wouldn't
good
it be
decision
funny?
because the Blackfires are way cooler.
They really are, yeah.
Yeah,
Wouldn't it
wouldn't
be
it?
cool
Yeah,
if Griff really was just like a bright flame who
who
we
was
thought was
mentioned like
irrelevant,
twice.
but Varys just sort of constructed him into like something that matters.
And he's like, I don't know, off screen brandished all this propaganda to remind you about the Blackfires and not the Bright Flames.
Yeah, it's a mislead. It's all like a false flag to make
Well,
you worry
so
about black fires when bright flames are the problem.
this idea that Aegon will never be revealed, if true, I mean, it's basically the same as if he was, like, he might as well be a Bright Flame, right? I don't think we're gonna get this, like, reveal where Aegon's like, yes, I actually am a Blackfire via Meleys the Monstrous's, like, sister or whatever. And Illyrio's like, yes, my wife was a Blackfire. I just don't see that happening.
I I I tend to think that it actually will be revealed because in the House of the Undying, Daenerys heard that line calling her Slayer of Lies. In the same scene where she heard the phrase Mama's Dragon, she had the vision of the Mama's Dragon.
Right.
She was then told, "You are the Slayer of Lies." And what lie will she slay? Probably the lie that young Griff is Aegon Targaryen.
How's she gonna do that?
Well, I think that Tyrion suspects that young Griff is
Yeah,
not
okay.
Aegon Targaryen because there's that line where he says, "Ooh, he might be a Targaryen after all." And then Tyrion could tell Daenerys that young Griff is not Aegon Targaryen. And Tyrion might not even know that for sure, but since he's such a vindictive little prick in A Dance with Dragons,
Yeah.
and he probably wants to set Daenerys and Aegon against each other, I reckon he could tell and convince Daenerys that he's fake. And then Daenerys will burn Illyrio in Pentos, and then she'll burn young Griff in King's Landing. And so she will be convinced that Aegon was fake. But maybe we, the audience, will never know for sure. And maybe Westeros at large will never know for sure whether he was a
Well,
Targaryen.
which is it then, mate? Because you just said that Daenerys will reveal that he's not a Targaryen, and then you said, yeah, but the audience won't know that.
All right, look, all right. Gun to my head, I will say that I put it towards the left. I'm saying that Aegon will be revealed, but I still kind of love the idea that he will never be revealed. So I'm putting it somewhere in that top left quadrant.
I'm basically in the same boat because I think that something as contentious in the story as Aegon's identity kind of requires an answer by the storyteller. I think that that's just implicit in having that exist, right? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I generally agree.